All right, let's just jump right in. If you're out there making incredible food, as a chef, a caterer, a foodpreneur, you know this feeling. You pour everything you have into creating something amazing, but then it's time to price it. And that's when this wave of stress, this uncertainty, just hits you. So today, we're going to swap that stress for a solid system.
And this just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Hitting send on a quote and just hoping for the best, that's not a business strategy. It's a gamble, plain and simple. But here's the good news. You don't have to keep playing. Let's dig into why this happens to so many of us.
We're calling this the guessing game because that's exactly what it feels like. And it's what happens when you're just winging it, operating without a clear, repeatable system. It just opens you up to some really common and frankly, very expensive mistakes.
I'm willing to bet these look a little too familiar. We totally forget about the cost of just being in business. That's your overhead. We forget about the little supplies that, trust me, really add up. We way undervalue our own labor and time. And maybe the biggest one of all, profit gets treated like this optional bonus. Like, oh great, there was something left over, instead of being a non-negotiable part of the plan from the very beginning.
Because look, these aren't just little oopsies. They have real, painful consequences. They're the hidden costs that can literally bleed a business dry. So you know what? Let's do a quick reality check.
Okay, I want you to think about the last job you quoted. The very last one. Got that final number in your head? Perfect. Now let's put it under a microscope for a second.
First question, be honest. Did you actually include your overhead? I mean, did you build in a percentage for your insurance, your website, your phone bill, your kitchen rent? Or did all that stuff just kind of get forgotten in the final number?
Second, and this one is so crucial, was profit a line item you planned for, or was it just whatever money was sitting in the account after you paid everyone else? Because there's a world of difference between those two things.
And last one, think about the labor. Did you only count your time, or did you add up the total person hours for every single soul who helped out? The person who chopped, the person who packed, the person who drove the van. Every single hour has a cost. Now, if you just answered no to any of those questions, I need you to hear this loud and clear. You are not bad at business. You underpriced because you were missing a system. That's it. The problem isn't you, it's the lack of a tool. So let's build that tool right now.
Okay, here it is. This is the solution. We are replacing all that guesswork with a rock-solid foundation, the 5 pillars of pricing. This is the system that's going to make sure you never underprice yourself again.
And here they are. These are your 5 non-negotiables. Now, food costs and supplies, we usually get those right. But it's the other 3, labor, overhead, and profit. That's where people leave thousands, and I mean thousands of dollars on the table. So that's where we're going to focus. This part right here is what separates a hobby from a real, sustainable business. We're talking about the costs that are there even when you're not cooking, the costs that exist outside of any one recipe.
The easiest way to think about overhead is it's the cost of keeping your doors open. Your kitchen space isn't suddenly free just because you have a slow week. Your business insurance still needs to get paid. These are real fixed costs, and every single job you take on has to pay for its little piece of them.
And look at this. This chart gives you a starting point right away. No more guessing. Just find where your business is at, and bam, there's your percentage to build into every quote. If you're working from home, maybe you start around 10%. But if you've got a full commercial space, you're probably closer to 25. See? Simple.
Now, let's talk about something that might just be the most important distinction for any entrepreneur. Your pay is your paycheck. It's a labor cost for the work you do. Your profit, on the other hand, is what the business earns. That money is for growth, for new equipment, for surviving a slow month. They are 2 totally different things, and they can't be treated as the same.
And just like overhead, you don't have to pull your profit margin out of thin air. You can set it intentionally based on your market. If you're in a super competitive space, okay, maybe you aim for 20 to 25%. But if you're offering a premium, specialized product, you can and absolutely should be charging a premium profit, maybe even up to 40%.
All right, let's hit our final pillar. And honestly, this is the one where money just vanishes into thin air: labor. Seriously, getting your labor costs wrong can wipe out your entire profit margin before you even know it.
I want you to burn this term into your brain: person hours. It's such a simple little shift in how you think, but it is a total game changer. It's not about how many hours you worked. It's about the grand total of hours that every single person put into that project. And here it is, the #1 mistake.
spelled out plain and simple. You count your 10 hours of work, but you forget that your helper worked 8 and someone else did 6. Well, you just forgot to bill for 14 hours of labor, and guess where that money comes from? Yep, right out of your pocket.
Let's just look at this real example. So you, the chef, you work 10 hours. But wait, you had 2 helpers. So the true labor for this event isn't 10 hours, it's 24 person hours. And the true labor cost isn't $300, it's $580. If you only billed for your time, you just lost $280 before you even thought about profit.
So when you bring all these pieces together, what do you get? You get a system. You're not just changing a price on a quote. You're changing the entire way you operate. You're moving from that stressful guessing game to a place of confidence, a place of guaranteed profit.
And that is the goal. A system isn't about being restrictive, it's about being free. It frees you from that constant anxiety of, oh my gosh, did I charge enough? And it lets you get back to focusing on what you actually love, the food, because you know with total confidence that your business is protected.
Let's really let this one sink in. If you're only paying yourself for your labor, and you're not factoring in overhead and profit, you haven't built a business. You've created a really high-stress, high-risk job for yourself. A real business is an entity that can grow, that can sustain itself, and that can build wealth way beyond just your paycheck.
And that, at the end of the day, is the big question, isn't it? Are you running a job or are you building a business? Your answer lies in how you price your work. And by using a system, one that accounts for every single true cost, you are making a conscious choice. You're choosing to stop just working a job, and you're starting to build a real, sustainable, and profitable business.